Coming up on this edition of the Newsfeed, a record-large freshman class settles into life at Virginia Tech. We have team coverage of its effects on the school and the community.
Plus, CBD oil is all the rage around the country. Find out how it's being sold in the New River Valley.
And you see them all over the Virginia Tech campus, but how safe are e-scooters for pedestrians? These stories and more are just ahead on this edition of the Newsfeed.
Hello and thanks for joining us for this edition of the Newsfeed. I'm Michael Lachnowitz.
And I'm Taylor Caskey.
An overflow of freshmen, that's what happened to Virginia Tech this school year as they welcomed an additional 1,000 students that they didn't plan to have.
Newsfeed reporter Kelsey Vick joins us in the studio. Kelsey, how is this impacting campus?
Thanks, Taylor. So after making national headlines earlier this year, Virginia Tech is still in damage control mode after the over-admission debacle that left families of freshmen frustrated and concerned about the year to come.
The enrollment target was exceeded by 1,000 students, creating major problems with housing, classroom space, commuting, and dining. The university offered freshmen financial incentives to delay enrollment, including taking a gap year with free community college and a $1,000 scholarship every year for up to 4 years to wait until fall of 2020. Faculty members say the increase in class size will negatively affect learning.
My biggest problem right now, without even having the freshman class, is finding classrooms for all of those students and having enough professors to teach those classes.
The university is dishing out $9 million to the Holiday Inn Express and the Inn at Virginia Tech to house the extra students. Virginia Tech increased the number of Blacksburg Transit buses, bike share stations, and e-scooters. Virginia Tech Dining Services expanded dining hall hours, increased grab-and-go options, and increased the number of private food trucks across campus. Many parents, faculty, and students are concerned about the quality of their college experience. It is yet to be determined if these solutions will help decrease the negative impacts of the over-enrollment.
We will continue to make updates on this story as the semester goes on. From the studio, I'm Kelsey Vick.
The amount of freshmen flooding the Virginia Tech campus could cause an impact on local businesses. Newsfeed reporter Sammy Daly joins us from the newsroom with what's at stake.
Thanks, Taylor. The influx of Virginia Tech students is impacting neighboring businesses. Virginia Tech accepted approximately 1,000 more students than the school could house. As a result, 2 Blacksburg hotels were booked to host students. A director of Downtown Blacksburg Incorporated says local businesses are concerned about game day traffic being directed away from downtown. Game days at Virginia Tech are peak times for local business sales. Business owners are concerned about the loss of hotel rooms for alumni and families to stay in. Blacksburg visitors must find hotels in neighboring towns, which could affect sales traffic in the downtown area.
I think everybody's still in shock, actually, just trying to figure out what's going to happen with so many new people. 2 hotels have been taken over by dorms. So the people who would usually be in those hotels are now being sent to Roanoke, which will affect the town on football weekends or whatever, because instead of perhaps going to the game, staying downtown and shopping and dining, they're more conscious about having to get back to Roanoke to their hotel. So that is a concern, I think, with most of our businesses.
Members of Downtown Blacksburg Incorporated hope to see Virginia Tech's class of 2023 exploring what they have to offer. From the newsroom, I'm Sammy Daly reporting for the Newsfeed. Back to you in the studio.
The former Blacksburg Middle School site in downtown Blacksburg has been vacant for almost 20 years. But with the arrival of what is being called Midtown Blacksburg, that vacant lot will be no more. Although several proposals were made for a new lot, they didn't pan out in the years following the closing of the middle school. The Midtown idea was first brought to the table in late 2017. Agreements were needed to be put in place before the space could begin construction. The plans were approved in May of 2019, almost 2 years after the first proposal. While the process of getting the development approved might have lowered excitement, developers say the end result should hopefully provide downtown Blacksburg with a boost in interest from town residents.
And not just the merchants that are up at the top there. All of our merchants are very aware that, you know, the more business there is, the greater the attraction to be downtown to the public. So there is that excitement, and just kind of, when is it going to be finished?
According to the development's website, Midtown plans on providing 300 residential units along with commercial and retail space, a hotel, public park, new police station, and a public parking garage. A new form of alternative medicine is spreading across the United States.
Cannabidiol, or CBD, is on the rise in the New River Valley. CBD is extracted from hemp plants and will not induce a high feeling. Hemp-derived CBD was made legal in 2018 by the passing of the Farm Bill. Businesses such as the newly opened Rise and Shine Botanicals in Radford have taken advantage of the new way to increase profits. One owner says it's actually more about helping the community than it is about increasing revenue.
Opioid addiction is a major issue, as most people know, here in Southwest Virginia. One of the things that people say about CBD is that it helps a lot with pain. We've got customers that say it helps them with chronic pain, and so we think it's really great that people have a choice now.
CBD is gaining momentum in the health and wellness world, with some scientific studies confirming that it may ease symptoms like chronic pain and anxiety.
CBD is said to allegedly help with the big four: pain, anxiety, stress, and sleep. It can be used in creams and bath solutions, or you can take a page out of Rise and Shine's book and use it in food. One CBD user says she hopes others will consider using it as an alternative as well.
You can take it before work if you're having a bad day. It also helps with like cramps when you're on your menstrual cycle. Again, it helps almost immediately, which is great. Whereas with medication, it might take 1 or 2 hours for it to actually kick in.
Just remember, CBD from hemp plants are legal, but CBD from marijuana plants are illegal.
And that was Newsfeed reporter Denisha Dunaville reporting from Radford. The legality of CBD varies across jurisdictions. Officials advise checking your local laws before purchasing or consuming CBD.
A fight to end an opioid epidemic right here in our area. A Virginia Tech researcher has big plans to create a vaccine for opioid addiction. Mike Zhang, a professor at the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences and the College of Engineering, just received a 2-year, $3 million grant. The grant comes from the National Institute of Health's National Institute on Drug Abuse. His plan is to create a vaccine that can create antibodies to fight the high provided by opioids and the symptoms of opioid addiction.
So it's also a psychoactive compound, so we thought we probably can apply our research to the opioid field to help potentially develop a vaccine against the opioid, help those people addicted to the opioid. If one life can be saved, that's one family can be saved.
If research goes as planned, the grant will be extended another 3 years. Zhang has already created a vaccine for nicotine addiction. He hopes this prior research will help him create an opioid vaccine.
Over the last few years, a new trend has spread across college campuses. Although it was advertised as a way to stop smoking, vaping has become a national concern. Stephanie Campbell explains how vaping has an impact on a teen's body.
While cigarettes are on a decline, a new nicotine addiction quickly takes its place. Vaping has rapidly become the cigarettes of a new generation.
Adolescents throughout college campuses, high schools, and even some elementary schools are picking up the habit. I sat down with medical student Allison Burns to see her thoughts on the effects of vaping.
The rise of it is a little bit newer. We're not really going to see all the effects until later because research is just beginning to be done in that. We do know that nicotine is a highly addictive substance, so that's going to increase their chances of being addicted to that, and increase just like their use of nicotine-containing products. But nicotine also does have an effect on the developing brain.
Although some of the long-term health effects are still unknown, health professionals advise against vaping. James Alexander, a Virginia Tech student, explains why he still chooses to.
Definitely the flavors have an impact. like mango and whatnot, and they have all these like delicious flavors. You know, it's not like a tobacco taste. No one wants to taste tobacco.
Because vaping flavors are drawing in so many adolescents, the Food and Drug Administration announces its plans to remove flavored e-cigarettes from the markets. How this will affect the trend of vaping, only time will tell. Reporting for the Newsfeed, I'm Stephanie Campbell.
Just ahead on the newsfeed, breaking new grounds on the soccer field, where both Virginia Tech teams stand in rankings and how the players are taking on the pressure.
And e-scooters make their way to Virginia Tech's campus. What major concerns it's now drawing since students have access to them daily. That story and more after this break.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help.
You were probably going to turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Welcome back to the newsfeed. I'm Michael Alaknowitz.
And I'm Taylor Caskey. Various community centers within Virginia Tech are currently looking to fill empty positions. Staff shortages within the cultural and community centers at Virginia Tech are raising concerns early this semester. Squire Student Center is home to 5 different community centers whose purpose is to provide students with a sense of belonging on a large campus. With more than 1,000 freshmen on campus this fall, staff is needed. The LGBTQ+ and Black cultural centers are in need of new directors and are currently undergoing the hiring process. Interim directors have been hired to fill the openings.
There has been a change. The former director, she left and she's gone on to graduate school to complete her PhD. And that's something that normally happens in higher education. There is sort of a rollover at least once or twice a year, especially at major institutions where you get great people and you lose great people. So it's something that usually happens and it is expected.
The LGBTQ+ Center is set to have their new director in place next month, but the Black Cultural Center does not expect a new director until next semester.
Virginia Tech men's and women's soccer is off to a fantastic start this season. The newsfeed's Robbie Fletcher explains.
Virginia Tech soccer is breaking new ground as both the men's and women's teams have started their seasons off in thrilling fashion. The men's team are the 9th ranked team in the country after their 4-0 start to the season. It's just the 5th time in the program's history that they've started this well, and attendance to games is improving because of it. Senior defender John Angeson says that the team doesn't let their historical start hurt their preparation for the rest of the season.
I mean, I guess knowing or being aware of that those records exist and we're capable of reaching them, obviously it's in the back of our head, but I don't think it adds an additional pressure on us.
The Hokies have revealed themselves as an energetic and high-scoring squad so far, with junior Christo Strickler leading the way with 4 goals in 5 games. His last goal came in the team's home opener against North Carolina. The women's team is also off to a hot start as they've started the season with a perfect 8-0 record. It's also just the 5th time in school history they've achieved this feat. The team's shown to be a disciplined and experienced group thanks to its 6 senior leaders. Goalkeeper Mandy McGlynn knows how important leadership can be to a team's success.
What I've taken away from former leaders is just reinstating confidence in my players. And, we're not all perfect. We're not all going to have a great game. So just, seeing them, being there for them in tough times and then supporting them when they're doing great, I think it's a big thing.
While the men's team kicked off conference play this past Friday against the North Carolina Tar Heels, the women's team will have to wait until September 21st when they go up against the Miami Hurricanes, a team they beat 2-0 just a season ago. The season may be early, but it's safe to say that now is a good time to be a soccer fan at Virginia Tech.
There's a different way to get to classes for this fall semester. E-scooters have hit Virginia Tech's campus in a big way. This is all thanks to a research project by the Virginia Tech Transportation Institute. The scooters are on campus for the next year and a half and are available every day. You can use the scooters beginning at 7 a.m. until a half hour after sunset. But the scooters will slow down if you go off campus. As with any motorized vehicle, safety is a concern. The scooters not only share the road with cars, but also the sidewalks with students. The operations lead for Spin in Blacksburg explains some helpful safety tips when driving the scooters.
The first one is wear a helmet. The second one is be considerate of others.
If you ride the scooter, Raju says wear your helmet and take the necessary safety precautions that come with it.
And that will wrap up this edition of the news feed. If you have a story idea for the news feed, let us know. Send us an email at thenewsfeednrv@gmail.com. And as always, you can also connect with the news feed on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for watching. I'm Michael Alaknowitz.
And I'm Taylor Caskey.